What's the hardest thing about being on Warped Tour? I mean, you know, it's great exposure, it's a great tour, but at the same time, what's the hardest thing about being away from home for a while too?
Well, we've been touring for a long time, but Warped Tour is unlike any other tour. It's probably the hardest tour any band can do, and this is our third time doing it, and I think being that kind of veteran vibe, like we know exactly what to expect. But the very first time we did it in 2008, man, we were struggling. It was tough.
Yeah, why? You said it's the toughest tour. Why?
It's just because the venues are so big. We're playing in like amphitheaters like this where there's hills and roads, so we have to bring gear everywhere. We have to bring merch everywhere. It's 100,000 degrees outside.
First year, dude, like I was literally on the trucks lifting amps, like 10 feet in the air and like that.
I'd go out probably around 8 a.m. and I'd put on like a leather face mask, and we had a huge sign.
Excellent.
And we put our set time on the sign, and I had just little shorts on. I just walk around the.
It was more like for us, like it was more like since like a lot of people didn't know who we were, like we had to kind of hustle a little bit more, like and actually, and that's awesome. I see the kids doing that, and I'm like, dude, like that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Because literally that's what we did.
Marketing. Yeah.
Like in 2008, and then in 2010, that paid off for 2010, and we did the same thing. And now we're on one of the main stages, so it's like unreal to kind of do this movie.
Right,
so.
and feel
So we're really excited.
You guys, and literally one of my favorite bands. So appreciate the music you guys continue to put out. How do you keep putting out such good music? We were saying there are a lot of bands that are falling off these days. Or just like, oh, I gotta write another album. Here's another song, that kind of thing. How do you guys keep doing the good stuff? New album out and everything.
I think you just have to keep pushing yourself, like personally. Like it's like no, don't worry about like what other people are doing. Just try and like, if we don't feel like this is the best song we've ever done, like that we got to keep working on it, and like, and if we don't feel like we're doing something different than what we've done before, and what other people are doing, like we like with this record, we tried to like do something different than all our other albums, and at the same time we wanted something that like maybe people haven't like kind of heard yet, make it like really unique. And
how do you do that? Just with the writing process, producer,
a little bit
studio?
of everything, man. Taking a lot of risks in the studio, doing like weird stuff sometimes, like that you've never done.
And I think for us, like knowing what we wanted in the beginning, we're just like, all right, we want zero boundaries. We don't want to put ourselves. We don't want to go in there and try to write a pop record. We're trying to write a heavy record. We're just gonna whatever feels natural to us. Let's go. And everybody had like the same mindset. So I think having that let us create whatever. There's no boundaries. There's just like, oh, let's throw this on it. Okay.
Seems like that would be the best way to do it, yeah.
Yeah, Mike did all his drums in like a abandoned warehouse next to the studio.
That's what I was gonna say. A lot of people say they do things like that. Yeah,
and just try stuff that like.
Like I did all my vocals like with a handheld SM7 microphone, where like I could actually all the vocals you hear on the record like almost like a performance, because like I could walk around the room, run around the room, I could be crawling on the ground, doing like weird shit that like you would never know, but like that's what helped make the sound and make it a little different and more like emotional and stuff. More like.
Where'd you get the idea of the abandoned warehouse? I mean, I've heard like when the levee breaks, Bonham did that, in like an open stairwell and that kind of stuff.
We kind of just went for it. Like we didn't plan on it. It was just open. That the place
next door.
What was it?
It was like a.
We think it used to be a growing place. They were growing.
Nice.
It was like a pharmaceutical place where they make like some sort of like
I think something else was going
sports.
Oh, okay.
But it went out of business, so we just said, F it, we're gonna move.
It looked like a big airplane hangar. It was that big, like it was giant.
So all the decays, like on the drums and everything, like they're all real. There's no reverb.
Put a mic like a mile
Really?
away. Oh, that's crazy.
Oh, that's
nice.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's sick.
Every pause you hear like on like a floor tom or something like that, you can actually hear the room and stuff.
Being a drummer myself, I appreciate that because that's a great sound technique that I really wish I would have thought of something like that.
There's so many records nowadays that are just drummer wasn't even in the studio when they were
programmed.
We actually just had Fear Factory on the show, and there was no drummer on the album whatsoever. It's all machine, the entire album. Yeah, it's crazy.
And I honestly, as bad as it sounds, I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with certain drum triggers, it makes it sound like it's almost electronic when.
And that's like one thing for us. Like we were like, we want our drums to sound real. We want the listener to be like, these are legitimately real.
Right. That's the same thing we've heard from a couple other bands on tour today. Is that they want the natural sound. A lot of bands are progressing towards the electronic sound. Trying to make it sound more digital. And some of the bands are kind of holding up on that, saying, no, we want to go back. We want natural sound, and I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, that's a good sign. I think for the future. You think you're going to do stuff like that on future albums as well? I mean, this one's just came out, but
we try and do it with every album. Is make real natural sounds, but still have the best quality sounding thing as possible. Like that's what we went for on those records. Like we want a really amazing sounding record, but we want to do it in a real way, you know. Like so.
How about the timing of an album? I mean, you know, does your label say, hey, you've got 18 months, get another album done, or you know, can you just write it as you go along?
This was kind of the first time we had a real time restraint, and they give us a lot of time, you know, but we take forever to do things. So,
Right.
like,
You gotta get inspired. You know?
yeah, I mean, we took 3 months in the studio, and it was, you know, and it still all came down to the wire. But yeah, I mean, we kind of need that anyways. We need a deadline, or else we'll just keep writing.
Right. Yeah.
We'd still be writing right now.
Right. Yeah. If you guys had 5-10 minutes left to live, something like that. What is the last song you would want to hear or perform, yours or anybody else's?
Damn.
I'll go Bohemian Rhapsody. It's my favorite, one of my favorite songs ever
Nice.
made.
Absolutely. Yeah. Performing it or just listening?
I just listen to it.
Yeah.
It's hard to duplicate for
The
anybody.
bodies at the floor.
Bodies?
Bodies.
Again, here playing it or listening?
Just me doing karaoke and some
Nice.
dive bar.
Nice.
I'd be DJing that dive bar.
Nice.
With that song.
With
would
that
be-
song, yeah, with
for
Bodies,
sure.
yeah.
We'd be going off.
And drunk off what in that karaoke bar?
Jack
Jack
Daniels.
Daniels.
Jack Daniels, nice. All right, I got you.
I'm a Jaeger guy. I love my Jaeger.
I'm a Hennessy guy, I don't know.
You know, what are you looking forward to next? I mean, I know you guys just dropped the album. You guys are on work now. What's the next thing? What's the next step?
I just can't wait to play some of the new songs off the record.
Yeah,
Playing live and
playing the new songs, and then
see-
also
see
like
kids' reactions to them.
maybe we're doing our very first headline in the UK, so maybe like some headline runs would be really nice because we've never really done.
That's gonna be amazing.
We've been touring with such great bands, and so we've been 3 of 5, 4 of 5, or a bunch of like we never,
Co-headlining.
co-headline. We never actually had our own tour, so we're really looking forward.
So
to
you're gonna
something
play like
that,
a
yeah.
full hour and a half set, something like
yeah,
that.
something
Wow.
so we can actually like play more than
With like
5
bigger
songs.
production and like just give them like the best show we can.
Yeah, nice.
Real quick, because I know we're running out of time here. What band have you not played with? Have you not toured with that you ideally would really want to?
I would,
Thrice.
Thrice. I would love to take it back and play it.
Right.
I love that band.
We're slowly racking up like all our favorite bands that we've been like as kids, you know, like so far we toured with Thursday. It was huge for us. Like
looking
Taking Back
forward to
Sunday,
striking.
like the Used on this tour.
Yeah.
All those dudes, and they're like the nicest dudes in the world. So we're just like, oh, what's going on?
Thrice
Right
is like our number one, I think, at least mine.
yeah, it's up there for me for sure.
I was bummed when I found out that was their farewell tour. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was disappointing.
And they played one of their last shows in Virginia Beach, right?
Yeah.
At the
Yeah, they
Norva, I
played
think.
here,
Yeah,
yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we appreciate it. Be back here in a few minutes on Across the Board.